In exactly 90 minutes, a man's entire career will be destroyed by 3 words he said in an elevator. But right now, he has no idea. Kevin Wu stands in the lobby of Global Tech Solutions, senior marketing manager, 12 years with the company. He's speaking Mandarin with 2 visiting colleagues. A black woman in jeans walks past them, carrying a box. Kevin laughs. Look at that servant. Black woman carrying boxes, probably here to clean toilets or deliver food. He gestures at her like she's furniture. These people always forget their place, he adds. Someone should remind her where the service entrance is. His colleagues look uncomfortable. One tries to change the subject. The woman stops at the elevator. Press the button. She says nothing. Her face is calm, almost kind. Kevin and his colleagues step in behind her. The doors close. The woman says nothing, but she heard everything. And Kevin has no idea who she really is. 9 o'clock. Conference room A on the 42nd floor. Robert Mitchell, the CEO, called an emergency meeting 15 minutes ago. All 30 senior managers must attend. The room fills quickly. Leather chairs, mahogany table, windows overlooking Seattle. Kevin Wu walks in confidently, straightens his tie. This has to be about promotions. The vice president is overdue. Then he sees something strange. A woman sits at the head of the table, next to Robert's chair. The seat is reserved for incoming executives. It's her, the woman from the elevator. Kevin freezes. His 2 Chinese colleagues stop behind him. She's changed into a navy suit, hair pulled back, polished, professional. Kevin whispers to his colleague, "What's she doing here?" His colleague says nothing. His face has gone pale. Kevin sits 3 chairs away, keeps glancing at her. She's reviewing documents, completely calm. Robert stands. The room goes quiet. "I'm retiring at month's end due to health reasons," Robert says. "The board met Friday night. We voted unanimously on my successor." Kevin sits up straighter. His heart pounds. Robert looks at the woman beside him. "Simone Clark will be our next chief executive officer." Kevin's smile freezes. Simone Clark, CEO. The room applauds. Kevin doesn't move. Can't move. His mind flashes back. The elevator. His words. Look at that servant. Black woman carrying boxes like hired help. Oh, God. His colleagues have gone still, staring at their hands. One is sweating. Simone stands, tall, composed. She looks directly at Kevin. Then she speaks. In Mandarin. Perfect Mandarin. "This morning you called me a servant. You said I carry boxes like hired help. You said people like me wander into wrong areas. You suggested someone show me the service entrance." Kevin's face drains of color. His hands grip the armrests. Simone continues in Mandarin. Her voice stays calm. Cold. "You said this company has 0 standards. You were right. We will no longer tolerate people who judge by skin color instead of capability." She pauses, switch to English. "Now I'm your boss. Explain yourself. Right now. In front of everyone." Dead silence. 30 people were staring at Kevin Wu. Robert leans forward. "You said what?" Kevin opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. Sweat beads on his forehead. Jennifer Park, the CFO, whispers, "Oh my God." Marcus Rodriguez looks furious. One of Kevin's colleagues slides his chair away. Physical distance. Kevin finally speaks. I didn't... I thought... You thought I couldn't understand," Simone says quietly. "You assumed because I'm black, I must be low-level staff. You assumed I couldn't speak Mandarin. You assumed I didn't belong here." She pauses. "All 3 assumptions were wrong." Robert stands. "Kevin, my office. Now." Kevin tries to stand. His legs shake. He grips the table for support. As he walks out, 30 pairs of eyes follow. No one speaks. His career just ended in 2 minutes. But nobody in that room knows the full story yet. How does someone go from answering phones to running a $3 billion company? How does someone master a language so completely that native speakers can't tell? And why did Simone Clark spend 15 years preparing for a moment exactly like this? The answer starts 6 months earlier, with a Saturday morning phone call that was falling apart, a $50 million deal on the verge of collapse, and a woman who was still invisible to everyone around her. 6 months earlier, Saturday morning, 9:15. The conference room on the 38th floor smells like stale pizza and burnt coffee. Laptop screens glow in the dim light. 7 executives sit around the table looking exhausted. They've been here since 7. Emergency meeting. A $50 million manufacturing deal with Beijing is collapsing. 200 jobs hang in the balance. The entire Asian expansion strategy is at risk. Robert Mitchell paces near the windows. His tie is loose, sleeves rolled up. On speakerphone, a translator's voice crackles. She sounds stressed, overwhelmed. "I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell, I cannot make them understand the contract terms. They keep saying something about their face, about respect. I've translated the words correctly, but they're getting more upset." Through the phone, angry Mandarin voices overlap. The tone is clear, even without translation. The deal is dying. Robert runs his hand through his hair. "We've been negotiating for 8 months. We cannot lose this now." Jennifer Park, the CFO, checks her watch. "It's midnight in Beijing. If we don't resolve this in the next hour, they'll walk." Marcus Rodriguez shakes his head. "The translator isn't the problem. Something else is wrong." The Mandarin voices on the phone grow louder, more agitated. Then the door opens. Simone Clark walks in. She's wearing weekend clothes, jeans and a sweater. She's carrying analysis documents Robert requested yesterday. She was director of international partnerships then, but junior enough that most executives barely noticed her. She sets the documents on the table, starts to leave. Then she hears the phone, the Mandarin conversation. The translator struggled. Simone stops, tilts her head, listening. Her expression shifts, understanding, then concern. She walks closer to the speakerphone. "Excuse me," she says quietly. "May I?" Robert looks up, distracted. "May you what?" "May I speak with them directly?" Robert blinks. "You speak Mandarin?" "Yes." The room goes quiet. 7 executives were staring at her. Robert gestures at the phone. "Please, anything." Simone sits down, takes a breath, then speaks into the phone in Mandarin. Her voice changes completely. The tone becomes formal, respectful. She's not just speaking a different language. She's adopting a different communication style entirely. She addresses the Beijing partner as Respected Director Li. Not the casual address the translator used. She acknowledges the unfortunate misunderstanding that may have caused offense, giving them face, allowing them to save dignity. The angry voices on the other end pause. Someone responds, less hostile now, cautious. Simone continues. She quotes a Chinese business proverb, something about seeking common ground while respecting differences. Robert stops pacing, leans forward, watching her. Jennifer's eyes widen. Marcus mouths to a colleague. "What the hell?" On the phone, the Beijing partner's tone shifts dramatically. The anger is gone. He's laughing now, warmth in his voice. Simone spends 10 minutes speaking, not rushing, not pushing, just listening and responding with perfect cultural sensitivity. She's not translating words. She's translating meaning, context, respect. Finally, she switches back to English, looks at Robert. "The issue wasn't price," she says. "It was approaching. Our translator was technically accurate, but culturally tone-deaf. She used direct Western communication. That's offensive in formal Chinese business contexts. Robert sits down slowly. What did you tell them? I apologized for the communication style. I referenced their company's founding philosophy. I proposed a modification that addresses their concern about respect without changing our business terms at all. And? They've agreed to resume negotiations Monday, but they specifically requested I be present for all future discussions. Through the phone, Director Lee speaks again. In English this time. Accent, but clear. Ms. Clark understands Guangxi. She understands relationships. This is what business requires. We will speak on Monday. The line goes quiet. The call has ended. The conference room stays silent for 30 seconds. Then Robert speaks. His voice is different. Quieter. How long have you spoken Mandarin? 15 years. I started in community center classes when I was in foster care. Jennifer leans forward. This never came up in your interview. Simone's response is simple, honest. No one asked. Robert stares at her, really seeing her for the first time in 2 years. How many languages do you speak? 4 fluently, 3 conversations. Robert stands, walks to the window, looks out at the city for a long moment. Then he turns back. We've been blind. He pulls Simone aside after the meeting, away from the others. I've watched you for 2 years. You observe. You speak last. I thought you were cautious. Now I realize you were reading rooms in ways we couldn't see. Simone says nothing, just waits. I need people who see what I miss, Robert says. Starting Monday, you report directly to me. But that Saturday morning wasn't really the beginning of Simone's story. It was just the moment someone finally noticed what she'd been building in silence for 15 years. The real beginning started much earlier, in a small apartment in Tacoma, with a woman who had nothing except a stubborn refusal to stay invisible, 15 years before that Saturday morning. Simone Clark is 23 years old. Small apartment in Tacoma. Thin walls. My neighbor's TV is bleeding through every night. She works 2 jobs. Day job, receptionist at an international shipping company. Answer phones, schedules meetings, invisible to people who pass her desk. Night job, cleaning offices in a tech building, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Then home, shower, straight to her day job. On her bathroom mirror, a college acceptance letter. Deferred. Couldn't afford tuition. The tape is yellowing now. One Thursday night, she's vacuuming an executive floor. Building empty. Lights off. Except 2 executives are in the conference room down the hall. Their voices carry through glass walls. We need someone who speaks Chinese. None of our staff can handle Shanghai expansion. We're losing deals because of language barriers. Simone stops vacuuming, stands there in the dim hallway. She thinks about that sentence for 3 days. The following Wednesday, she's at the community center. Bulletin board by the entrance. Flyers for yoga, food bank schedules, ESL tutoring. One flyer catches her eye. Free Mandarin classes, Wednesday 7 p.m. That evening she walks into a classroom, folding chairs, whiteboard. 8 students were already seated. An older woman stands at the front. 70, maybe older, white hair in a bun. Kind eyes behind wireframe glasses. I'm Professor Eleanor Chang. I taught linguistics for 40 years. Now I volunteer because language shouldn't belong only to people who can afford it. Simone sits in the back row. After class, Professor Chang approaches. You have a natural ear for tones. Why Mandarin? Simone hesitates, then tell the truth. I want to be in the room where decisions are made, not cleaning it. Professor Chang studies her. Come early next week, I'll give you extra materials. That begins 5 years of Wednesday evenings. Professor Chang sees something in Simone, gives her books, stays late to practice, pushes her harder than other students. One night, The professor asks again, "Why are you really here?" Simone hasn't told anyone this story. "When I was 8, I was in foster care. A social worker discussed my case on the phone. In Spanish. I didn't understand a word. I just sat there while they decided my future. I felt powerless." Her voice gets quieter. "I never wanted to be locked out of a conversation again. Every language I learn is a door I can open myself." Professor Chang nods, reaches into her bag. She pulls out a small jade pendant on a silver chain. Chinese characters carved into the stone. "This means resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to persist." She places it in Simone's hand. "You already have this quality. Wear it. Remember what you're capable of." Simone wears that pendant every day for 15 years. She studies during lunch breaks, listens to Mandarin podcasts between jobs, flashcards taped to her steering wheel. She saves tip money in a jar. Certification exam, $450. Takes 9 months to fill it. She passes the exam first attempt. Professor Chang cries when Simone shows her the certificate. "The world underestimates quiet people," the professor says. "Let them. When you finally speak, make sure they remember." 2 years later, Professor Chang passes away. Simone speaks at her funeral, in Mandarin, honoring her teacher the way she would have wanted. But expertise without opportunity is just potential. Simone needed someone to finally see what she'd built in the shadows. That moment was still years away. In a conference room that smelled like burnt coffee, during a phone call that was falling apart. Robert's office, 20 minutes after the conference room explosion. Kevin sits in a chair across from Robert's desk. His hands are shaking. His expensive suit suddenly feels too tight. Simone stands by the window, arms crossed, silent. Robert's voice is cold, controlled. 12 years with this company. And this is who you are?" Kevin tries to speak. "Sir, I apologize. I didn't mean—" "You didn't mean for her to understand you." Robert cuts him off. "That's different from not meaning what you said." Kevin's mouth closes. "I want him gone," Robert says. But he's looking at Simone, not Kevin. "Terminated. Effective immediately." Simone turns from the window. "No." Both men look at her. "No?" Robert repeats. "Firing him is easy," Simone says. "It makes us feel better. But it doesn't fix anything." He leaves, finds another job, learns nothing, and someone else deals with his prejudice. She walks closer to Kevin's chair, looks down at him. He needs to learn the right lesson. Kevin finally looks up. His face is pale, sweating. Simone's voice stays calm, matter of fact. "You're not fired. You're on probation, effective immediately, 6 months." Kevin exhales slightly, relief washing over him. Then Simone continues. "You'll work directly under me. Report to me every morning. Every project you touch, I review. Every client meeting, I attend. You'll participate in our Asia expansion trips, Shanghai next week, Tokyo the week after." The relief drains from Kevin's face. "You'll watch how business is actually done, how respect is built, how relationships work across cultures, and you'll learn why your assumptions were not just wrong, but dangerous." Robert leans back in his chair, a slight smile forming. He understands what she's doing. "You'll also apologize," Simone adds, "in writing. To your 2 colleagues who were with you this morning, copy me and Robert." "Of course," Kevin whispers. "And you'll enroll in unconscious bias training, not the online module, the full in-person program. 8 weeks. Kevin nods, can't speak. "If you make one more comment like this morning, if I hear one more assumption, one more microaggression, you're gone. No second warning, no appeal." Understood? Yes. Say it clearly. Kevin swallows hard. I understand. And I'm sorry. Simone doesn't acknowledge the apology, just nods toward the door. Shanghai meeting is Monday morning, 7 a.m., conference room A. Don't be late. Kevin stands. His legs barely support him. He walks to the door. As he reaches for the handle, Robert speaks one more time. Kevin, she just saved your career. I hope you're smart enough to realize that. Kevin leaves without responding. The door closes. Robert looks at Simone. You're more merciful than I would have been. Not mercy, Simone says. Strategy. If I fire him, I'm the angry black woman who can't take a joke. I'm the diversity hire who's too sensitive. The whispers start immediately. She sits in the chair Kevin just vacated. But if I make him learn, if I turn him into someone who teaches others, then I'm the leader who builds people up instead of tearing them down. Robert studies her. You've thought about this scenario before. I've thought about every scenario, Simone replies. I've had to. By noon, everyone in the building knows something happened. The details are fuzzy, but the rumors spread fast. Kevin Wu said something racist, in Chinese, to the new CEO, who speaks Chinese fluently, who heard every word. People avoid Kevin in the hallways. Conversations stop when he enters break rooms. His colleagues from Shanghai won't make eye contact. He receives 2 apologetic emails by 2 p.m., both saying essentially the same thing. I should have said something this morning. I'm ashamed I didn't. Kevin reads them, closes his laptop, puts his head in his hands, his calendar notification pings. Shanghai trip, Monday, 7 a.m. He's about to learn what real leadership looks like. Whether he's willing to actually learn is still an open question. Monday morning, Shanghai Pudong International Airport. Simone walks through the terminal with her team. Jennifer, Marcus, 2 analysts, and Kevin. Kevin hasn't slept. The flight from Seattle was 13 hours, but insomnia started days before that, ever since Robert's office. They take 2 black cars to the manufacturing partner's headquarters, modern glass building, 40 stories. The lobby smells like jasmine, tea, and money. Kevin has been here before, 3 times. He led negotiations last year, thought he understood how this worked. Now he's watching Simone, trying to figure out what makes her different. She's dressed conservatively, navy suit, minimal jewelry, just that jade pendant she always wears. The elevator rises to the executive floor, top level, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Huangpu River. They're led into a conference room, long table, 10 chairs on each side, tea service already prepared. 5 men wait for them, all in their 50s or 60s, expensive suits, serious expressions. Li Ming sits at the head of the table. He's the CEO, the decision-maker. Kevin has met him twice before. Li Ming's eyes scan the American team. They land on Simone. Pause. His expression doesn't change, but Kevin sees the calculation happening. Young, female, black, the only woman in the room. Li Ming speaks to his assistant in Mandarin. Kevin catches enough to understand. Where is Mitchell? They sent someone junior? The assistant translates to English, more diplomatic. We expected Mr. Mitchell to attend personally. Simone steps forward before anyone else can speak. She responds in Mandarin. Formal register, respectful tone. She addresses Li Ming as esteemed Director Li. Not casual, not familiar. The honorifics carry weight. She says Mitchell has entrusted her with full authority. She expresses honor at meeting him. She's studied his company's remarkable achievements. Li Ming's eyebrows rise slightly. He responds in Mandarin, testing her. You studied in China? No, honored sir. Here in America. From a teacher who believed language connects souls, not just words. Li Ming's expression softens. Barely. But Kevin sees it. Simone doesn't immediately sit. Instead, she walks to the tea service, pours tea herself, serves Li Ming first, then his senior executives, then her own team. It's a reversal, the visiting executive serving the hosts, a gesture of respect that transcends business protocol. Li Ming watches her carefully. Then he smiles, small but genuine. He gestures for everyone to sit. The meeting begins. Kevin has sat through dozens of these negotiations. They usually follow a pattern. Americans present proposals. Chinese partners ask questions. Both sides dance around issues for hours. Everything is indirect, implied. But Simone doesn't present a proposal. Instead, she asks Li Ming about the calligraphy hanging on the wall behind him. She recognizes the style. Running script. She mentions Wang Xiji's influence, classical Chinese art. Li Ming's eyes light up. He's surprised, pleased. You know calligraphy? Only enough to appreciate masters like yourself. Li Ming laughs. Actually, I laugh. I am no master, but I practice daily. My grandfather taught me. Practice itself is the teaching, Simone says in Mandarin, quoting a Chinese proverb. Gong fu bu fu yu xin ren. Effort never betrays those with heart. Li Ming sets down his teacup, leans forward. The business posture is gone. This is personal now. For 20 minutes, they discuss philosophy, company values, the founder's vision that Li Ming's father worked under. Simone has studied their company history. She knows details that Kevin never bothered learning. She references their founder's principle written in the lobby downstairs. Harmony through mutual benefit. Then, so smoothly Kevin almost misses it, she pivots to business. She doesn't push, doesn't pressure. She proposes an expansion that honors their existing relationship, that builds on trust already established. She uses the concept of guanxi, relationship-based business, not transactional. Relational. Li Ming listens, nods, asks questions. His questions aren't challenges. They're genuine curiosity. He wants to understand her thinking. The meeting runs 2 hours. Teacups refilled 4 times. That's a sign. In Chinese business culture, continued tea service means continued interest. Finally, Li Ming speaks. In English this time. So everyone understands. Global Tech has sent us many representatives over the years. You are the first who sees us, not as vendors, as partners. He pauses. I will recommend to my board that we expand our contract. An additional $80 million over 2 years. Jennifer's poker face cracks. $80 million was beyond their projections. Li Ming continues. And I request that all future negotiations be conducted with Ms. Clark specifically. Simone bows her head slightly, respectful, not triumphant. As they leave the building, Kevin walks in silence. Marcus whispers to Jennifer, "Did that just happen?" Kevin heard everything, saw everything. Simone didn't just speak the language. She understood the culture, the unspoken rules, the way respect is built, the way relationships are valued over transactions. Everything Kevin thought he knew about international business just got rewritten, and the lesson was just beginning, because Tokyo was next, and that presentation would be even harder. 2 weeks later, Tokyo. The presentation that will either secure Global Tech's biggest partnership ever or destroy Simone's credibility before she even officially becomes CEO. $200 million, 5 Japanese tech companies forming a consortium. All of them need to say yes. The meeting is scheduled for 2 p.m. at the Tokyo headquarters of Nakamura Industries. They're the lead company in the consortium. Simone's team arrives at 1:30, early, respectful. Kevin is with them again. He's been quieter since Shanghai, watching more, talking less. They're led to a conference room on the 52nd floor. Mount Fuji is visible in the distance through floor-to-ceiling windows. The room is minimalist, beautiful, intimidating. 6 Japanese executives wait. All men, All senior level. Traditional dark suits. Serious expressions. The lead executive is Tanaka-san. 60 years old, former engineer. Built his company from nothing. Kevin has read his file. Tanaka doesn't trust Western companies. Thinks they don't understand Japanese business culture. Simone sets her laptop on the table, connects the cable to the projection system. Nothing happens. She tries again, still nothing. The screen stays blank. Marcus checks the cables. The system's not recognizing the laptop. One of the Japanese executives says something in Japanese. His colleague translates. Perhaps we should use our equipment? But Simone's presentation is formatted specifically for her laptop. Graphics, data, video testimonials. None of it will transfer quickly. Jennifer checks her phone. The translator is stuck in traffic. Accident on the expressway. She won't be here for 40 minutes. Kevin watches Simone's face, waiting for panic, for frustration. Her expression doesn't change. Calm, centered. She removes the cable, closes her laptop. Then she does something unexpected. She picks up a marker, walks to the whiteboard at the front of the room, and she begins speaking. In Japanese. Her opening line is an apology, humble, respectful. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I'm honored to speak with you directly. Tanaka-san's eyebrows rise. He wasn't expecting this. Simone performs the business card exchange, the Meishi ritual. She presents her card with both hands, slight bow. She receives each executive's card the same way, studies each one carefully before setting it down. The proper respect. Kevin has done this ritual before, but never like this. Never with this level of attention. Tanaka-san speaks, in Japanese. Your Japanese is unexpected. As is your interest in partnering with us, Simone replies in Japanese. Let me explain why this partnership honors both our companies. She starts drawing on the whiteboard. Market diagrams, growth projections. But she's explaining everything in Japanese, using Japanese business terminology. She references Kaizen, continuous improvement, a core Japanese business philosophy. She talks about omotenashi, hospitality, the art of anticipating needs. These aren't just words she learned. She understands what they mean in context, in culture. Kevin has sat through Jennifer's PowerPoint presentations on these same topics. Bullet points, charts, statistics. This is completely different. Simone is having a conversation, building a relationship. She explains Global Tech's commitment to long-term partnership, not quarterly profits, not short-term gains. Relationship built on trust over time. She uses the Japanese concept of way harmony. She explains how their partnership would create harmony between American innovation and Japanese precision. Then Tanaka-san asks the question Kevin was dreading. Why should we trust an American company to understand our market? Your country thinks in quarters. We think in generations. Simone sets down the marker, faces him directly. She responds in Japanese. Because I don't presume to fully understand. I come asking to learn from you, to build something together that respects both our ways. She pauses. Trust isn't given in presentations. It's built through shinrai, trust developed over time through consistent action. This meeting is just the first step. The room goes quiet. Tanaka-san studies her. Long pause. Kevin can hear his own heartbeat. Then Tanaka-san smiles. Small but real. When can you start? Jennifer blinks, looks at Marcus. Did he just agree? We would need board approval, Simone says. Both yours and ours. You will have my recommendation, Tanaka-san replies, still in Japanese. And I will request that you personally lead the implementation. He switches to English, speaking directly to the room. In 30 years of business, no Western executive has shown this level of respect. Your teacher trained you well. After the meeting, in the elevator going down, nobody speaks for 3 floors. Then, Jennifer breaks. What just happened? She closed a $200 million deal with a whiteboard marker, Marcus says. That's what happened. Kevin says nothing, just stares at the elevator numbers descending. That evening, back at the hotel, Kevin knocks on Simone's door. She opens it, still in her business attire, working on her laptop. Yes? Kevin struggles to find words. I need to say something. Simone waits. I was wrong. Entirely wrong. About you. About what matters in leadership. About everything. His voice is shaking slightly. I thought language was just words. I thought you were just a translator. I didn't understand that you were building bridges, creating relationships, actually seeing people. Simone's expression doesn't soften, but she listens. I've worked in international business for 12 years, Kevin continues, and I just learned more watching you this week than I learned in all that time. Then learn from it, Simone says. Not warm, not cold, just factual. Don't just apologize. Be different. She starts to close the door, then pauses. Shanghai and Tokyo weren't about language, Kevin. They were about respect. Something you clearly need to practice. The door closes. Kevin stands in the hallway alone. His phone buzzes. Calendar reminder. All company meeting Wednesday morning. Simone's official introduction as CEO to the entire staff, 500 employees. And Kevin knows what's coming. He's going to have to publicly apologize in front of everyone he's ever worked with. The real reckoning hasn't even started yet. Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock. The company auditorium holds 500 seats. Every single one is filled. People stand along the back wall. The energy is electric. Nervous. Everyone has heard something. The rumors have been flying for 3 days. Kevin Wu said something racist to the new CEO, who speaks Chinese, who heard everything. But nobody knows the full story yet. Kevin sits in the middle section, 7th row. He's surrounded by his department, but there's space around him. People shifted their chairs slightly, creating distance. He hasn't slept properly in a week. The stage is simple. Podium with microphone. Large screen behind it showing the company logo. 2 chairs to the side where Robert and Jennifer sit. At exactly 10 o'clock, Simone walks onto the stage. She's wearing a charcoal suit. Professional but not overly formal. That jade pendant is visible at her collar. The room quiets immediately. I know what you're thinking, Simone begins. No podium. She stands at the front of the stage, visible, vulnerable. Some of you are excited. Some are skeptical. Some are wondering how someone who answered phones 5 years ago is standing here now. People shift in their seats. She's naming the elephant in the room. That's fair. I wonder the same thing sometimes. A few nervous laughs. The honesty disarms the room. Let me tell you who I am. Not my resume, who I actually am. She talks about foster care, about learning languages in community centers while working 2 jobs, about being underestimated her entire life. I learned early that the world makes assumptions about where you come from, what you're capable of, what rooms do you belong in. Her voice is steady, clear. I've spent my life proving assumptions wrong, not to spite anyone, but because I refuse to let someone else's limited vision define my potential. The room is completely silent now, people leaning forward. And I'll be honest, last Monday morning someone in this company made assumptions about me, harmful assumptions, based solely on how I looked. Kevin's stomach drops. This is it. That person is here today, and he's asked to speak. I've agreed to let him. Simone looks directly at Kevin, nods once. Kevin stands. His legs feel weak. 500 people turn to look at him. He walks to the aisle. Every step feels like miles. His colleagues watch him pass. No one meets his eyes. He climbs the stairs to the stage, stands next to Simone. She steps aside, gives him the space. Kevin faces the audience. His hands are shaking. My name is Kevin Wu. Monday morning, I said something inexcusable. I saw Ms. Clark in the lobby, and I made assumptions based on her race. I called her a servant, in Mandarin, because I thought she wouldn't understand. His voice cracks. He clears his throat, continues. I was wrong in every possible way. Wrong about who she was. Wrong about what respect means. Wrong about what leadership looks like. People in the audience are stone-faced. Some are angry. Some are uncomfortable. I've worked here for 12 years, and in one sentence, I destroyed any right to be respected. Ms. Clark had every reason to fire me. Instead, she's giving me a chance to learn, to be better. He turns to Simone. I don't deserve your grace, but I'm grateful for it, and I promise to use this chance to make sure no one else in this company ever feels diminished the way I diminished you. Kevin steps back. The auditorium is silent. Simone returns to center stage. Kevin will be leading our unconscious bias training program going forward. He'll use his mistake to educate others, because the best teachers are people who've learned hard lessons. She pauses. This company will not tolerate discrimination, but we also believe in growth, in second chances earned through genuine change. Then something unexpected happens. The large screen behind her flickers on. It's a video call. Li Ming appears, calling from Shanghai. Ms. Clark, he says in English, I wanted to tell your entire company, you are the leader global tech has needed. You understand business and humanity. Both are required for true leadership. The room murmurs, surprised. Then Marcus stands from the front row. I didn't vote for Simone initially. I thought she was too unconventional. I was wrong. She's the most prepared person I've seen. Jennifer stands next. I've watched her work for 3 years. She sees what we miss. One by one, division heads stand. Directors, senior managers, even 2 people from Kevin's own team stand up. Then the applause starts, slowly at first, then building. Within seconds, most of the auditorium is standing, clapping. Kevin stands too, clapping. Tears streaming down his face. Simone stands at the center of the stage, watching 500 people acknowledge her, not because of diversity initiatives, not because of quotas, because she earned it. But words are easy. Actions define leadership. And Simone Clark was about to show everyone exactly what she meant. The formal inauguration was in 3 days, and she had plans that would transform the entire company. Friday afternoon, 3 days later, the plaza outside Global Tech headquarters has been transformed. White tents, catering tables, a stage with podium and microphones. Over 1,000 people gathered, employees, partners, press, board members, the formal CEO installation ceremony. Simone arrives at 2 p.m. She's wearing a deep blue suit, hairstyled, professional, but that jade pendant still hangs at her collar, the one Professor Chang gave her 15 years ago. She touches it once before stepping out of the car. Robert Mitchell waits backstage. He's in a formal suit. This is his last official act as CEO. He sees Simone approach. Last day as your predecessor, he says quietly. First day as your biggest supporter. He hands her note cards, his speech outline. I wrote some thoughts, but you won't need them. Speak from where you've been. Simone looks at the cards, smiles, sets them aside. You're right. At 2:15, Robert walks onto the stage. The crowd quiets immediately. I've led this company for 12 years, Robert begins. His voice carries across the plaza. We've tripled in size, entered 35 new markets, became a Fortune 500 leader. He pauses. But I've failed in one critical way. I've been blind to talent hiding in plain sight. I've promoted people who looked like leaders over people who were leaders. I've confused confidence with competence. People shift uncomfortably. This isn't the typical praise-filled retirement speech. 3 months ago, a director saved a $50 million deal because she spoke a language we didn't know she had. Not just spoke it, understood the culture behind it. Then she closed our largest partnership in company history without a single slide, using only respect and preparation. He gestures toward the side of the stage. Simone Clark will be our next chief executive officer, not because of diversity initiatives, because she's the most qualified person for this role. And I'm including myself in that assessment. Simone walks onto the stage. The applause builds, genuine, warm. Robert reaches to his lapel, unpins the CEO insignia, a small gold pin that's been worn by 6 CEOs before him. All men, all white, all from traditional corporate backgrounds. This pin represents leadership, Robert says. Today we redefine what that looks like. He approaches Simone, pins it carefully to her jacket. Then he does something unexpected. He bows slightly, a gesture he learned from watching her work with Asian partners. He whispers so only she hears. Make me proud. But more importantly, make sure kids like you see this and believe. Simone's eyes water. She whispers back, Professor Chang is watching. I won't let her down. Robert steps aside. Simone stands at the podium, looking out at over 1,000 faces. 20 years ago, I was a kid in foster care who thought power meant being in the room, she begins. 15 years ago, I learned that language was a key to open doors. 10 years ago, I cleaned offices in buildings like this one, hoping someday I'd work here during business hours. She pauses. Today I lead it. Her voice is strong, clear. I'm not standing here alone. I'm standing here because of every person who was told they weren't good enough, who studied in secret, who refused to let circumstances define possibility. She looks directly at the employees in the front rows. This company will reflect that belief. We will find invisible people, open doors we didn't know existed, measure potential, not pedigree. Then she announces 3 new initiatives. First, the Eleanor Chang Scholarship Fund, $5 million endowed for language and cultural studies for underrepresented students, named for the woman who taught me that language is respect. Applause. Second, the Hidden Talent Program. We'll assess every current employee to identify overlooked skills, because the person answering phones might speak 4 languages. The person cleaning offices might have an engineering degree. More applause, louder now. Third, the Door Opening Initiative, partnership with foster care systems nationwide to provide mentorship and career pathways, because every kid deserves to see the possibility. The crowd stands, applauding. Simone steps back from the podium. Then someone approaches from the side of the stage, a woman in her 40s. Asian, carrying a small wooden box. Simone's breath catches. She recognizes her. Professor Chang's daughter. The woman walks to Simone, opens the box. Inside are teaching materials, flashcards with Chinese characters, handwritten notes in Eleanor Chang's distinctive script, a small folder. The daughter speaks quietly, but the microphone catches it. My mother wanted you to have these when you made it. She always knew you would. She hands Simone a note from the folder. Simone reads it. Her hands start shaking. The note says, For when you teach others, because that's what leaders do. Love always, Eleanor. Simone breaks. Right there on stage in front of 1,000 people. Tears streamed down her face. Jennifer and Marcus move forward instinctively, supportive, present. The applause continues. But it's different now. Softer, understanding. This isn't just a corporate ceremony anymore. It's a moment of human connection, of legacy honored, of a promise fulfilled. Simone composes herself, wipes her eyes, speaks into the microphone one more time. Professor Chang taught me that the world underestimates quiet people. She said, let them. When you finally speak, make sure they remember. She holds up the teaching materials. I'm speaking now, and I'll make sure you remember. The sun sets behind the Seattle skyline. Golden light washing over the plaza, the stage, the crowd. The woman who went from invisible to undeniable. The camera pans back, shows the view through the glass walls into the building lobby. The reception desk where Simone once sat. Empty now, but symbolic. From answering phones to leading billions. From servant to CEO. From assumption to undeniable truth. But this wasn't the end of the story. It was just the beginning of what Simone Clark would build. 6 months pass. The numbers tell part of the story. Stock price up 43%. Employee satisfaction scores the highest in company history. Revenue growth exceeded projections by 30%. But numbers don't capture everything. The Hidden Talent Program uncovers 156 employees with skills the company never knew existed. 89 different languages spoken by current staff. Degrees from other countries that were never mentioned in interviews. Certifications earned at night while working day jobs. Luis Hernandez worked as a janitor for 3 years. Night shift. He never told anyone he had an engineering degree from Venezuela. On his application, he only listed facilities maintenance. Now he's an assistant engineer in product development, training new employees. He stands in front of a room explaining circuit design, in Spanish first, then English, making sure everyone understands. CEO Simone changed my life, he says in an interview for the company newsletter. She asked what languages I spoke. I said Spanish. She asked what else I knew. I told her about my degree. 1 week later, I had an interview for engineering. Jasmine Reed was the receptionist who replaced Simone 5 years ago. She watched Simone's path, wondered if it was possible for her too. Now she leads the customer experience team, 40 people reporting to her. I saw her trajectory, Jasmine says. She showed me I could follow it, not the exact same path, but my own path. That's what representation means. The scholarship fund receives 2,000 applications in the first month. They award 50 scholarships, full tuition for language and cultural studies. One recipient is Maya Johnson, 19 years old, grew up in foster care in Detroit, studying Mandarin and international business. She speaks at a scholarship event in November. When I saw a black woman who started where I started to get to where she got, I finally believed it was possible. Not easy, but it's possible. Kevin Wu stands in a training room every Tuesday and Thursday, teaching unconscious bias awareness to new employees and existing managers. He starts every session the same way. My name is Kevin Wu, and I was that person, the one who made assumptions, the one who thought speaking a language meant understanding a culture, the one who judged someone by how they looked instead of who they were. He tells the story, the elevator, the insults, the moment Simone responded in perfect Mandarin. I almost lost my career, he says. I deserved to lose it, but I was given something I didn't deserve, a chance to learn, to change, to teach others so they don't make my mistakes. The training sessions are mandatory now. Every employee, every level. People listen differently when Kevin teaches, because he's not speaking from theory. He's speaking from failure, from consequence, from genuine transformation. Simone watches from the back of one session in December. Kevin doesn't see her. She observes quietly. He's different now, humbler, more careful with words, actually listening instead of performing. After the session ends, she approaches him. How do you feel after these training sessions? She asks. Kevin considers the question carefully. Exhausted, ashamed, but also hopeful. If I can change, anyone can. Simone nods. Keep teaching. You're doing good work. It's the first time she's acknowledged his progress directly. Kevin's eyes water slightly. Thank you. The company isn't perfect. Change is slow, hard, messy. But it's happening. Doors are opening. Voices are heard. People are seen. And it started with one woman who refused to stay invisible. One woman who spent 15 years building skills in silence. One woman who touched a jade pendant every morning and remembered a teacher's words. Let them underestimate you. When you finally speak, make sure they remember. They remembered. Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock. Simone walks into a community center classroom in Tacoma, the same one where she learned Mandarin 15 years ago. Folding chairs, whiteboard. 12 students are waiting. Different ages, different backgrounds. All here for free language classes. Simone teaches now. Every Wednesday. Just like Professor Chang did. She uses the same teaching materials. The flashcards. The handwritten notes. The curriculum Eleanor Chang developed over 40 years. A student raises her hand. Maria. She's 35. Works 2 jobs. Studying Mandarin at night. Why does a CEO come here to teach? Maria asks, genuinely curious. Simone sets down the marker, smiles. I never stopped being a teacher. I just have a bigger classroom now. She explains that leadership isn't about the corner office. It's about opening doors, seeing people, creating possibilities where others see limitations. After class, Maria approaches her privately. I clean offices downtown, like you used to, but I have a business degree from Guatemala. Nobody asks. Nobody cares. Simone pulls out her phone, types a name and email. Send your resume here. Reference my name. Someone will interview you within a week. Maria's eyes fill with tears. Just like that? Just like that. Talent deserves recognition, not permission. The community center closes at 9. Simone drives back toward downtown Seattle. She thinks about the person pouring coffee at Starbucks this morning, the one who served her in perfect English, but she heard him speaking Tagalog to a coworker. 3 languages at least. She thinks about the security guard at Global Tech, the one who always says good morning in 5 different languages depending on who walks through the door. She thinks about all the people doing jobs that others consider low level. People with stories no one asks about. Talents no one discovers. Because no one bothers to ask the right questions. The next Simone Clark is out there right now. Working 2 jobs, studying at night, building skills in silence, waiting for someone to finally see them. The question is simple. Will you be the person who sees them? Or the person who walks past them every single day without noticing? Your answer to that question changes everything. Not just for them, for you too. Because the world needs more people who see, who ask, who open doors instead of assuming they should stay closed. Start today. Ask someone their story. You might be surprised by what you discover.